Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Everyone is safe and healthy, of course. Well, a lot of shaking going on, and the tectonic plates are making adjustment, and we're going to go over it again. And this video is for 8 days, not 7. Okay, I just want to clear that up and let everybody know. But what is going on is a lot of shaking going on. Okay, I'm going to take the rings off. And as you can see, in South America, but also in the Antarctic plate, multiple FIMEs are taking place. And Argentina and Chile is not stopping, 5.7. And then multiple earthquakes in the northern part of South America. We're going to go over that. Also, what's going on in Puerto Rico, as you can see, small, but a lot of indications. Also, we're going to focus on Central America, Mexico, 5.0, some 4s, but this one right here caught my eye, the 4.0. And a lot of indications are taking place on the border, or should I say the state line of New Mexico and Texas and California. A lot's going on. You can't even see California. Look at all of these. So we're going to go over that as well. And Alaska, of course, a lot of indications in Alaska. And a lot of them are small, but they are indications. Okay. Killer whale is acting up, as you can see. The volcano. And then we're going to cruise over here. Parts of Russia, 4.8, 4.7. Japan had a couple of FIMEs, but it looks like it slowed down over the past week. And then the Philippines had a 6.1. Also, the area of Indonesia, Malaysia, a lot of 4s. And then over here on the zipper, New Zealand, they had multiple 5s, 5.7 to 5.5, 5.9, 5.9 in New Caledonia. And then we have also 4.8, 4.9 in this area, and it's not going to stop, unfortunately. And then we're going to cover the Mediterranean. They are increasing. Like I stated a couple of weeks ago, there wasn't much, but now they're going into the 4.5, 4.7. And also, we're going to be looking at the Indian plate, 5.3, 5.1, 5.0. And then the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, they did have a 4.9. But this has got my attention right here, 4.2, in the middle of the volcano, 67 miles across. It's an underwater volcano, and it's very close to the 40-degree mark, which we're going to look at and go over. So we have a lot going on in this video. It's going to run over a little bit. But as you can see, we have a lot happening. And now I'm going to take you to USGS, I call it USBS, big stuff, and see what they have going on. So we're going to start with the 30 days, USGS. In the last 30 days, we had a 7.0 in New Caledonia. And I'm going to bring this out so you can see what I'm talking about. There it is right there. Also a 6.9, New Caledonia. 6.7, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Taiwan received a 6.7. 6.4 in New Caledonia. 6.3, same area. 6.1 in the Philippines. Another 6.1 on the 18th. Okay, here's the dates right there and the kilometers. 6.0, same area of New Caledonia. Again, 6.0, 6.9, 5.9 in Taiwan. New Caledonia again. Sorry about that. It has to upload because so many earthquakes are going off right now, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's a lot. Okay. 5.9 Indonesia. 5.9 Tonga. Not Hugo Tonga. That's the volcano on the 18th. 5.9 in the Laurel Islands. 5.8 Taiwan. 5.8 Mid-Atlantic Ridge. 5.8 Ecuador. 5.8 Mid-India Ridge, which we're going to look at. 5.8 again. 5.7 China. 5.7, 5.7. I'm not going to go over all of these. Look at all these. Okay, so now we're going to switch to 7 days. Again, this is for 7 days. And of course, New Caledonia again, 7, 6.9, 6.7 in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, that's the largest one, 6.7, Thailand, 6.4, the Laurel Islands, 6.3. As you can see, this week we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's 9 magnitude 6, ladies and gentlemen. Very soon we're going to start seeing them in 7s. 7, 7, 7, 7. This is for today. 1 day. Okay. 5.9 in the Laurel Islands, or New Caledonia, right next to each other. 5.7 in China. This one's very important. 5.5 right here. That's the Antarctic plate right here. Philippines, 5.3, 5.1, 5.1, Indian Ridge right here. 5.1 right next to the other earthquake, and so forth. You get my point, right? Look at all these 4s. This is for 1 day, ladies and gentlemen. 1 day. So let's go to the map and see what's happening over there and start the video. So we're going to begin in a new location. Before we cover this area, I want to take you here. This is the Orca Seamount volcano right here. Been doing a little bit of research, and they did have a 6.0 in November last year. And I'll look for more indications along this line. As you can see, one right there. This is another area that is taking place. This is all new, and they had a 5.5 on the 20th, 5.1 on the 20th, and I'm not going to read the kilometers, okay? I just don't have time for that. The orange is significant earthquakes, and the red is 7 and above, like over here. That's an 8, the big one. So this area, I'll look for more indications to take place up through here, and it's going to connect and go through here. So now we're going to see, we only have a couple, and this is a 4.9 on the 18th. Also a 5.1 on the 15th, and keep your eye on the date, okay, because that's very important. so you can understand how these earthquakes, what they're doing, and basically they're all within a few days of each other. This right here is I'm going to bring this in for you. This area right here, 5.0 on the 16th, 4.9 on the 12th. Now it's going to get congested. This is a 4.2 on the 17th, 5.0 on the 14th. This happened today. This is a 4.1 on the 20th. This is another area that's taken off, a new place, not nude. I didn't say nude. I said new. Okay, 4.0 on the 16th, 4.7 on the 14th, 4.9 on the 14th. See what I'm talking about? 4.5 on the 14th. Right here. Okay. The kilometers are different. This is another one. I don't have my arrow on it. .5 on the 19th. These are somewhat new. As you can see, the March 17th right there. Right here is the big one. 6. Last year, July. This is a 4.4 on the 4th of March. It did not show up until 3 days ago. I don't know why they are holding these earthquakes. 4.4 on the 14th, 46 kilometers. 4.8 on the 20th. 4.4 on the 13th. Now it's going to get congested. 4.6 on the 19th. Let me bring that in because I think there's two of them. Okay, it's this one. 4.6 on the 13th. This is the 6.2 right here. 5.3 on the 15th. 4.4 on the 15th. 5.7 on the 20th. That happened today. Of course, the 6 right here back in February. 5.7 back in March. 4.4 on the 15th. 4.9 on the 14th. Right here is two of them. 4.6 on the 10th, on top of each other. 4.9 on the 14th. 4.5 on the 13th. A 4.3 on the 12th. 4.1 April the 5th, but they're on top of each other. 4.4 on the 18th of March. They're right next to each other. Okay. Oh, excuse me. That's this one right here. I do have to apologize, ladies and gentlemen, because yesterday this video should have been out, but I lost approximately 3 hours on the video. My generator shut down, and I lost the whole video. That's why it's getting the presentation today, not yesterday. 4.6 on the 12th. This is where the 7.5 took place last year. It's right next to the 6.5. This right here is a 4.2 on the 19th. 4.0 on the 16th. I'm watching this area right here. This is a new area. 4.6 on the 19th. I want to show you all something. These are volcanoes. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. And they're all down through here. This is Ecuador. One right here. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Right here. Okay, I'm just letting everybody know these volcanoes going off. Ecuador and Guatemala. There's a few more right here, here, here. You see my point. 4.6 on the 19th. This is not the USGS fault line. This is my fault line, and I talked about it about 3 or 4 months ago, and now look, they're all going up through here. We do have one right here, 4.4 on the 9th. But look at this cluster. Look at the date. This started back in December of last year. So what's going to happen? All of these earthquakes, like I stated about 3 months ago, we're going to see more and more in this area, and now here they are. And it's going to go right up through here, and it's going to connect to the Caribbean plate, as you can see right there. And then we're going to see more indications here. This is the Panama Canal. We're going to see more and more activity in that area. 4.9 on the 6th, that came out not too long ago. You can see what I'm talking about. They're going to follow right up through here like it's doing right now. You can see it. 4.0 on the 19th. This one just showed up with 4.4 on the 4th. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I'm not covering these no more. They have to be at least a 4 in order for me to cover. But I'm going to take you to the map so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. April, this week, 4.7. And it's real close to the area of the 7.2. So now we're going to go back and look at USGS maps so you see what I'm talking about. This is Puerto Rico for the last 30 days, 5.1 in Haiti. But you can see what I'm saying. There's just simply too many for me to cover. So now we're going to go to 7 days. This happened yesterday, 4.0, right there in Guadalupe. And then here in this area, at 3.8, 3.9, 3.7, 3.4, 3.4. So you get my point. They're just, I can't flag them anymore. They're just simply too many. So now we're going to go to Central America. They did have a 4.0, just 11 kilometers. It's very shallow on the 12th. 6 right here back in November last year. 6.1, January. 5.2, April the 15th. This area is a cluster right here. See how all these are clustering up together? We're going to get more right here, and then they're going to start going into the Baja Valencia. 4.3 on the 13th. 6.2 right here, back in February. We have 2 of them right here. 4.5 on April the 17th. And then we have another one right here in March. This is the one I'm looking for. 4.1 on the 15th. This is the big one. 7 took place right there back in September. 4.4 on the 18th. 4.5 on the 18th. See what I'm talking about? 4.9 on the 19th. The dates are very important, so keep up with the dates. Don't hesitate. I want to focus right here just for a brief moment. Yes, they're somewhat small. I'm going to explain why. 2.4 February. See what I'm getting at? This is Mexicali. 2.5 April the 18th. 2.8 on the 18th. The reason I want to focus on this, and I'm going to explain. This area right here is going to close up right here. We're going to see more earthquakes in this area, and it's going to go straight up in here. There's a cluster right there, and it's going to continue. Look at these. This is the San Andreas fault line, the beginning. It goes right up here and here to the Salton Sea. Okay. Right there, 3.2, April the 11th. And then this area right here on Baja Valencia, 4.6, that's the largest one in that area in quite some time actually. And then the 3.8, shallow, 16 kilometers on the 16th. So what's going to happen? Right up through here. That's Los Angeles. It's going to slide off in the ocean. We're at almost 40 degrees now with the magnetic reversal process. And it's going to be interesting in the next few months. I guarantee it. 2.9 on the 15th. The reason I'm covering these is because the significant earthquakes, and I told everyone I'm going to focus on this area if they're significant. Okay, and they are. 2.6 on the 11th. 4.1 April the 4th. Okay, I discovered this area about a year and a half ago when there was 1.5, and then they went to 2.2, and now look at it. Okay. 4.0 on the 19th, 3.3 on the 13th. So this area is not going to stop, as you can see. It's not going to stop. Neither is this. And when California, this area, I was told, it's going to be a 2.5 to 3.5 for 24 to 32, 36 hours. And after that, no earthquakes in this region. And then 8.5, possible 9.5 or 10.5 would take place. And it's going to go all the way up through here and set off the San Andreas Fault. That blue line is the San Andreas. Drops off in here. And then this is the Cascade Subduction Zone. This area of Oregon and Washington is not going to fall off into the ocean. Okay, the fault line runs over here, not through here. All of these volcanoes, I covered it last week, and I don't want to spend much time on it because we got a lot to do. This is the red zone. These volcanoes are going to go off when that happens. Getting close now to the 40-degree mark. We're going to look at it in this video in detail. Now, there was a couple small ones, 4.1. The reason I'm covering it, you know, these are volcanoes. Okay, you see this line right here? That was a 6 right there, 6.6. Gonna go right up through here. These volcanoes are gonna go off, just like this line. I've been watching. 3.5 on the 19th. This is Rat Alley. Okay. And Rat Alley at the big 5.2 back in March. So this island of the volcano is going to go off. It's just a matter of time, probably in the next 30, 45 days, 60 days possibility, and it's going to go off. 4.1 on the 14th. This is in Russia, and this volcano went off last week. 4.2 on the 9th. Okay. So we're going to drop over here now. Let me pull back for a moment. This is the Pacific Plate on the 13th. I don't have the kilometers. 4.9 on the 13th. If the kilometers don't show up, ladies and gentlemen, it's because USGS doesn't have it. Okay. Now we're going to get into the zipper. Okay. And be sure to zip it up. Okay. A lot of subscribers are asking, what is the zipper? And I'm going to explain it to you if you don't mind. I'm going to go down through here, take a little tour so you understand what I'm talking about. The zipper goes right through New Zealand. And as you can see, all these indications. And what happens is, there is a line of volcanoes that goes right down through here. They're underwater. I don't have all of them flagged. Okay, these are underwater volcanoes. Some researchers call them submarine volcanoes. Actually, I don't know why. We're going to cover this area in a minute. But this fault line right here, this is the Pacific Plate, and this is the Australian Plate. Okay, you can see right there. Right there. Now follow this line down through here, so you can see what I'm talking about. These volcanoes are going to go off. You see what I'm saying? They connect right up through here, and they go right up through there. Okay. This is Hugo-Tonga area. That's why it's a big cluster right here. So now we're going to go back and see what's going on. And here we go. Bear with me. I may get lost, but I'm not a lost soul. Magnitude 4.9 on the 20th. Okay. That's a 6.2 right there. Now it's going to get complicated in a minute. I want to show new subscribers this area, 6.5, 6.0. Now you get my point on the zipper. Okay. 5.0 on the 16th. Cruise up in here. This is a 5.5 on the 14th, right next to the 3.6 back in March. 6.0 right there. 6.0 right there. This is the big one. Okay. 6.0 on the 18th, 145 kilometers, right next to the 6.0 last year in September. That's a big one. .4, April the 14th, 4.4 on the 13th. 4.9 on the 20th. 4.6 on the 14th. 4.3 on the 17th. Right next to 6.2. Right next to 6.1. Right next to 6.3. Right next to 7.3. Out there. Right next to 6.9. Okay. Why do you think all of this is happening? Because when you get two tectonic plates colliding and it's in a 90 degree, that's a 90 degree approximately. That looks 90 degree to me. There's congestion and pressure right here that's going to build up. And I've been watching this area since the beginning, and now it's happening. As some of you know, that's been on this channel. That was the 7.0 back in March, right next to the 6.9 on the 30th, 6.3 on the 31st. Look at this. Date. Don't hesitate. 6.9 on the 30th, 6.3 on the 31st. Okay. Huh. Don't have it marked. Must be a typo. Right there. 4.9 on the 14th, 4.7 on the 13th. This is a very important earthquake, and I missed it. I do apologize. Now I'm going to find it and give it to you. Before we go back, I want to make sure that we cover this. This is a magnitude 5.9, almost a 6, and that happened today. Just want to make sure that I got that one for you. The one I missed, 4.7 on the 13th. We already covered these. 4.6 on the 18th. Right next to the 6.0 on the 4th. 5.4 on the 15th. Now it's going to get complex. 6.3 back on the 9th. 4.9 on the 19th. 5.8 on the 17th. 6.0 right there. 5.5 on the 12th, right next to the 6.1 back in October. 4.6 on the 17th, right next to the 6.0, January. Also a 6.0, happened November last year. 5.3 on the 18th. This is a 5.6 on the 18th. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting an indication right now. And this is important, so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to find it. Give it to you. Okay, so here we go. This just happened. Right there. This is a 5.5, 78 kilometers. Just happened. This is the 20th. This one happened yesterday, 5.3. We'll get to that here in a moment. I want to pick it back up so we can continue. I'll make sure I got this one for all of you. I'll go over it again. This is a 5.6 on the 18th. 5.0 on the 18th, right next to the 6.4 last year. 6.1 right there. 5.9 right there. This is 2 up. 4.8 on the 15th, 5.1 on the 15th. This is the big one. Okay. 6.1, 146 kilometers on the 12th. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. 4.7 on the 16th, Pacific Plate. 4.5 on the 17th. 5.4 on the 16th. 4.9 on the 17th. 4.6 on the 17th. See what I mean by the date? Now we're going to get into an area that's Indonesia, Malaysia area, Philippines. Fix to get there in a minute. 4.2 on the 13th. 4.3 on the 19th. Right next to the 6th. 4.3 on the 12th. Right next to the right next to the 7.3 back in December. I believe I covered that one. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I've been extremely tired and exhausted working out here on the land. 4.5. 546 kilometers on the 17th. That's very deep. Right next to the 6. Right here in this area, 4.6 on the 16th. We'll go up through here in a minute. There's a lot going on in the Philippines. We have a cluster on top of a cluster now. So a 4.4 on the 15th. Also a 4.3 on the 18th. 4.3 on the 17th. 5.1 on the 17th. You see how they're getting back to back at the same date, or 1 or 2 days of each other? Okay. That means a lot of shaking going on. When you get in these areas and they're back to back, these are very, very large aftershocks, ladies and gentlemen. 4.7 on the 11th. 4.5. Right there on top of each other. On the 6th. 4.7 on the 13th. I'm going to bring it in so you can see what I'm talking about. Right next to each other. I want to focus on this area just for a moment. Back in January, the 6.6 hit of this year. And as some of you know, I predicted Krakatoa was going to go off about 24, 36 hours ahead of time, should I say. And it went off yesterday, actually, again. I'm waiting on the big explosion to take place this year. And it's going to knock it all the way down until there's nothing left. Okay, nothing left. It'll go all the way down to the waterline. So let's check out a short video for about a minute and a half. So this volcano is going to be going off approximately every 30, 45 to 60 days. The more days, the larger the explosion to release the pressure. And I believe within time, it's going to knock itself all the way down to the water. So the smoke and the ash went approximately 1,500 meters. And like I stated, it just erupted. I did not have any earthquakes indications in my program. So it's going to happen again and again until it knocks itself completely down to the waterline, and then it'll take about a year to build itself back up again. 2 years it will continue to build itself back up. So I thought some of you might like to see the video. This just came out day before yesterday, or yesterday. I had it in the morning, but I lost the video footage and I had to start the production. So here in this location, a 4.4 happened on the 16th. And of course, this is the cluster that I've been reporting on over the last few weeks, as you can see. And these are volcanoes. So I believe what's going to happen is more of these surrounding volcanoes around here is going to go off. All of these indications are telling me I believe these volcanoes right here is going to go off next. That's just my opinion. We have a small cluster here. 4.8 on the 15th. Also a 4.9 on the 15th. And this is all new clusters right here. Right there, 4.5 on April the 6th, 4.5 on the 10th, 5.5 on the 5th, 5.1 on the 10th, 5.4 on the 9th, and a 5.5 on the 10th. So I'm watching that area very, very closely. And before I forget, would you believe Vietnam had a 4.8 on the 17th? So now we're going to pick it back up. I believe I covered that one. 4.5 on the 17th, right next to the 6th back in January. 4.6 on the 16th. And we're going to go to a cluster. I'm going to cover it here in a minute. A 4.7 on the 20th. This is another new area. And here's the cluster. Okay. So this was a 4.8 on the 17th, and as you can see, multiple. They deviate on the dates. For I anticipate more in this area. Want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. I believe I covered these, and I covered all of these. There's a lot to go over. Okay, now we're going to get congested. We're going into the Philippines, and this is a 4.9 on the 10th, right here. Okay, but also I missed my arrows. These are circumferences that I used to find them. That's a 5.1 on the 17th, 4.4 on the 17th, 4.5 on the 17th, 4.2 on the 15th, 5.1 on the 19th, right there, 4.6 on the 18th. Now it's going to get congested as we're getting closer to the 6.1. This is a 4.5 on the 17th. Look at all of these. Okay, look, quite a bit. Now the ones in the green, this is how I find them. So just want to cover it because it's a cluster on top of clusters of earthquakes. 5.3 on the 20th, 5.0 on the 19th. Here we go. Okay. This is where the 6.1 took place a couple days ago on the 18th, and this whole region took off right after that. 5.0 on the 19th, 5.2 on the 18th. These are owed right here. I'm probably going to mark this one because it's part of the cluster. 4.9 on the 19th, 4.6 on the 19th, 4.6 on the 19th. Look at the kilometers. Okay, they're different. 5.1 back in January. 5.9 on the 20th, and these was back in November of 5.4 and a 5.3. Also a 4.4 on the 13th, 4.6 on the 15th. This is another area of clusters. Okay, 4.4 on the 13th to cover that. And this is the area that had the 7.1 last year, multiple aftershocks. This is also another area of clusters. So a 4.7 on the 18th, and also this one out here is 4.7 on the 18th. Different on the kilometers, so there's two different earthquakes. And this is a fault line right here, the Philippines. And I'm going to explain something. If you see this many earthquakes and it's not over land, like a volcano, it's not going to be a potential underwater volcano. No. I will go over it in a minute so you can understand what I'm getting at. This is another area. This is Taiwan. A 4.6 on the 18th, 5.3 on the 18th. The 11th, a 5.3. You can see what I'm talking about. 4.7 on the 11th, 4.9 on the 9th. This is a cluster. This is a 90-degree turn. That's why this is happening. A 4.8 on the 19th. A 4.6 on the 17th. Now here we go. This is not a major fault line right here. Okay. So, I believe this is going to be a potential new volcano right here. Okay. Just my personal perspective as a researcher dealing with tectonic plates, earthquakes. 5.0 on the 14th. 4.6 on the 13th. 5.0 on the 13th. 4.8 on the 13th. 4.7 on the 14th. I believe I covered that one. 4.5 on the 13th. So this is a, I believe this whole area, as you can see, eventually we're going to see a, you know, in modern day history, we're going to timeline in history, we're going to witness a huge explosion right here. 4.6 on the 15th, right next to the 6 back in December. And this area right here, even though there was no earthquakes this week in this region, we're going to see a major fracture right up in here. I believe we're going to see a 7.1 or higher in this area because this is a slow 90-degree turn. I'm really surprised that we don't see more earthquakes in this area. And all of these are underwater volcanoes. You can see the indications of earthquakes right next to them. 4.7 on the 19th. 4.9 on the 18th, right next to the 6.3 back in November. 4.5 on the 15th. 4.5 on the 17th, right there. 4.6 on the 13th. 5.3 on the 18th. 4.4 on the 17th. Also 5.5 on the 17th, and this is where the big one took place. A 7.3 back in March, right next to the 6.0 back in March. 6.1 last year. 4.7 on the 15th, 4.8 on the 18th, right next to the 6.0 back in August of last year. This volcano went off, okay, about 2 weeks ago, 4.2. This one, right here. Okay, now we're gonna cover this area before I forget. Russia had a 4.7 on the 13th. .5 on the 14th. This is the border Afghanistan-Pakistan area, all down through here. China, of course. 4.7 on the 15th. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the area of Afghanistan, Pakistan. Okay, this is China right here. I just want to clear that out and let everybody know that I made a mistake. 5.5 on the 14th. These are two major plates coming together. Indian plate. All of this region is area right here is China. They did have a 7.8 in Nepal last year. .5 on the 19th. Now we're going to pick it up and we're going to cover this area before I forget. As you know, we already reported on the one that just happened, right? Okay, no kilometers. 5.1 right there. Bring that in on the 10th. And then a 4.8 on the 10th, back to back. Now we're getting into the India plate, African plate coming together. 5.3 on the 13th. 5.1 on the 20th. We'll go that way when we get ready for the magnetic north, current position. 5.0 on the western side of Africa. 5.0 on the 20th. Now we're getting into the Mediterranean. A lot of subscribers there. They did have a 4.5 on the 14th. 4.2 on the 17th. 4.8 on the 13th. Right next to, these are on top of each other. Excuse me, I've got to bring this in. 4.0 on the 18th. And a 4.4 on the 14th. I look for this to change within the next week. somewhere around this area of this plate, we're going to see a 5, possible 5.5, maybe even higher. Okay. North is out for you. 5.0 on the 14th. I don't have the kilometers. We already covered these areas. This is the big one. 6.7, March the 22nd. As you can see, 6.1. So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? These plates are separating right through here. Okay. And the separating, and I believe we're going to see some earthquakes along the western part of Africa. That's the indication. And then we're going to see earthquakes along this part, probably in the next 6 months, actually. Maybe even sooner. A 4.4, excuse me, 4.3 back in April the 18th. And Sister April, if you're listening, we love you, sister. We know you've been through a lot, and we love you. This area right here of New Mexico, Texas, it's really amazing how many earthquakes is taken off. See earthquake map, so let's check it out. So this is for 30 days. Right there. And as you can see, quite a bit of indications. There's a 4. That was one of the largest here a while back. This is for 30 days. 4.6. That is the largest right there in this area. These are somewhat new. This happened today. A 3.2. Keep your eye in this area. It's only 7 kilometers. Midland. A 2.3. Odessa, 2.9. I worked all in this area right here. This is one of the most dangerous highways in the United States back when the oil field was going. And they did fracking right here. So they're not fracking right now. If you don't know what that is, it's when they inject water and hydraulic that water builds up the pressure and it separates the plates so they can get more greed. You know, oil and gas. They don't care about the earth. They don't care about how many people are going to be damaged, even can go into death for the sake of oil and natural gas. They don't care about that. They don't care about you either. And I'm not going to get in it political. I'm just expressing my views. This is the last 7 days. And this is the one I just reported on, 3.2, right there, the state line of New Mexico. Okay, so let's finish this out. So I'm not going to cover the New Madrid. So it's a very small, and I made a mistake, made a statement. I'm not covering this area unless there's a 4. And I'm not looking at this map anymore unless it's a 4. Okay, just letting everybody know. And then I'm not covering these earthquakes in diverse places because they're very small unless it's a 4. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, this is the area that I'm concerned about. This volcano is 67 miles across. And if you think about Yellowstone at 52 to 53 miles across. This is larger than Yellowstone. 4.2 on the 15th of April. What is that? 40 degrees, right? So I'm going to give you the miles. Let's see what we got. That's approximately the center right there, let's say. And that is 64 miles, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to roll this around for you so see what I'm talking about. There you go. Interesting. Do you actually believe that's a coincidence? I don't think so. No, it's not a coincidence. We're getting closer and closer to the 40-degree mark. And now we're past 39, and I'm going to give you the current location in detail. So here we go. As of last month, it moved 5.33 miles. For the week of April the 4th, 1.33. This is my estimate over 10 months ago. For the week of April the 11th, 1.34 miles. This is 39 degrees, so it did speed up. For the month of April the 18th, 5.06 miles. Okay. 1 mile is 5,300 feet. Okay. So a quarter mile is what? 0.25, right? And an eighth of a mile is 1.25. So what's going to happen, I believe it's going to speed up myself. Because every time it slows down for a month or two, then it accelerates. Okay. I've been watching it for years, and I believe what's going to happen, it may even slow down this month to just 5 miles. I can't tell you because it deviates. Okay. And then when we look at the line, you know, if I zoom in, you can see the line slowly going in an angle. And it's going to get closer and closer, I think, to my estimate line. This is my estimate line that I'm following to lead up to the 40-degree mark. This is what I estimated back in June. About 10 months ago, last year. So we're going to be here in June this year. July. Okay. I believe it's going to speed up. Okay. October of this year, it's going to slow down a little bit. That's just my estimate. Here we are, 39.5 degrees, ladies and gentlemen. And every time it goes up 2.5 degrees, that's a quarter of a degree, everything changes with earthquakes and volcanoes. Every single time. Okay? 39.25. We're going to go into a different level of earthquakes. 39.5. We're going to go to another different level of earthquakes. And I'm telling you, it's going to shock you. It's going to shock me. 39.75. We're almost there. April 2023. 40 degrees. Right there. And here we are with the volcano. So what I'm getting at, I believe this volcano, we're going to see more indications. In the previous video, I said we're going to see indications around this volcano or inside. And then it happened, didn't it? Interesting, isn't it? And I'm not going to go over it again about the equator and how we're going to shift 1,200 miles to 3,000 miles. I'm just not going to go over it in this video. You can watch the last one. But we're going to shift about like that. I'm just going to give it to you briefly. We're going to end up in Canada. Canada is going to end up in the current position of the magnetic north. If we go 3,000, Canada is going to be in Siberia, and we're going to be we're going to be close to the magnetic north. Maybe I should invest in a Eskimo suit. Right? And then within the next 6 months, this is what we're going to see. That right there. Okay, I'm not exaggerating, I'm telling you. We're going to go to 888-999, and it won't be fine. So let's go here for a brief moment. So this is the map that I received from the scientist that I'm connected to, as most of you already know. And I'm going to share something with you, and I want you to hear me out. Okay. This map is very, very important because it came from the government, and they know that it's coming. They do. Now, so do you. Okay. The booms that are taking place, the loud explosions, are not what you think. They're not blowing up underground bunkers, okay? It's the Earth's crust separating from the upper mantle. Once it gets to approximately 55%, it's going to separate. The crust is going to separate, and we're going to slide north. Okay, north. Because the magnetosphere is weakening. And this area right here, I was in, I live here now at 7,500 feet. I used to be 500 feet underwater. And as you can see, all of this in blue is salt water. Now, here with the Hopi prophecy dealing with the great purification, it said, their ancestors said that they would have a canoe to go to the three mesas. In order for that to happen, it would have to be a mile of water. That's why I'm telling people you're going to have to be at least 5,000 feet, because a mile is what? 5,300 feet. 500 to 800 feet. I was in water. Now look at this. This is real. And right there, it states in the green, 500 feet. Possibility. Okay. So the people in the Ozarks, they're on the borderline. And it's going to go all the way down to Mexico. I just wanted to share that with everyone, so you would know what I'm getting at, how seriously this is. This is serious. So now I'm going to take you to a different part of the video, shall we? These events are taking place, and there's nothing we can do about it. We just happen to be here dealing with these timelines. And I'm here, and you're here with me. We're all in this together, ladies and gentlemen. And this channel has given the evidence what's going to take place. There's so many videos talking about the planetary system on this channel. but also the magnetic reversal process and understanding of the timelines. If you have not watched that video, I'm suggesting to you to watch that video, please. It's important. This is a time that we should be preparing spiritually. I have. Most of you have. And this just happens to be the time that we are in. And there's not a whole lot we can do about it except to enjoy those beautiful packages of love every day. Your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. And be happy. If you're not happy, you should go find Mr. Happy, okay? Be happy. There's nothing we can do about it, ladies and gentlemen. There's absolutely nothing. I knew all this was coming over 10 years ago, back in 2011, dealing with the magnetic reversal process. I knew it was coming. But I never knew, really, that these earthquakes are going to be so important, so significant, so explosive with the volcanoes. And the stuff that's spraying in the air. You know what I'm talking about. We're surrounded by darkness. But don't let people surround you with darkness. Don't do that. Remove them out of your reality. It's the best advice I can give you. I can't tell you what to do. That's what I do. I deleted a lot of so-called friends off my phone. You think about that. Are they really your friend? They're your friend when they are in need. Okay? Think about that. What about your family? Oh, they're your family too. When they are in need of what? Money that they print out of thin air. Lord Jesus Christ said money is the root of all evil. Didn't he? Also, I want to say thank you all for the presentation of the Man of Sorrows. He has risen. I'm so grateful I have so many wonderful subscribers here. And I'm grateful that a lot of you caught that message. And yes, it was difficult at the end. People said they cried. Guess what? I cried with you. Okay? Every time I watch that video, it's difficult for me. And it was difficult for you. But it doesn't have to be difficult, ladies and gentlemen. This is a time to make the adjustment. You heard me state this before. You have to make the adjustment. Just like I did. And most of the wonderful, beautiful, wonderful souls on this channel, mature souls, they have made their adjustment too. I don't like the word death. But death is a process to separate your soul from your container, your body. I'm from the light, and I'm going to return back to the light. And if you made it this far in this video, you're going to return too. This is not our home, is it? It's not our home. My home does not have any time, space, or matter. It's a spiritual realm. There's no beginning, no ending, and your soul has always been in existence. But I say thank you to all of you for your prayers. Now I'm going to tell you something. I want you to hear me. I'm going to present something to you, and it's not very easy for me. I've been getting a lot of emails. The wonderful sister from Australia sent me an email. Her nephew died, passed away, bleeding from the eyes, the nose, the ears, and the mouth. That's the second email. And if you have not watched the Real Precursor series, the link is in the description box, Patreon. And if you don't know how to get there, you can get to Brighteon. The light is at the end of the tunnel. It will take you there. That information was put in there months ago about the unknown virus. So now it's happening. You know what else is happening? I'm getting a lot of messages that people, their families and loved ones, they're in the hospital, they're dying, or they're extremely sick, and they're never going to be the same anymore. That's happening too. A lot of my friends, my closest sister, and I'm not going to mention her name, in the UK, she has cancer. Stomach cancer now. This is a difficult time, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been reading your posts where you're losing your loved ones. So many are losing their loved ones. Or they're in the hospital and they're never going to be the same again. We have to remain strong, because soon it's time for us to go home. I love you all. Please continue in prayer and be strong. I cannot put enough emphasis on that. And put the full armor of the Heavenly Father on every day. Be aware of your surroundings. Move people out of your reality. If they're presenting you with this negative energy, you can't take that. It will consume you. Don't do that. But ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are about to go home. I'm ready to go. I love you all. Sending you all many blessings of love and understanding. And may the Heavenly Father continue to watch over you and your loved ones. God bless everyone. Much love.